What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tune into another edition of my vlog. I want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. You know, I'm all about that positivity and that motivation. A little rainy out here in Cali right now, but you know, I got to stay getting mine, so I'm about to do a little workout in the garage. I got a little bit of iron to mess around with. You know, I was just sitting around kind of thinking about this whole situation, and you know, I send out my condolences to the people who have dealt with loved ones who have lost their lives as a result, and I'll also send positive vibes to all those out there who have recovered, because from what I heard, the recovery rate is around 99%. You know, we don't really get a lot of that from the news, so you know, I think it's always a good thing to hear how many people have actually recovered. You know, I said some things about the hip hop community and rappers not speaking out about any of this. You know, we as the fans, as the people, you know, you support a lot of these guys, and you idolize them, and you put them on a pedestal, man. You should never put another person on anything above what you are, because you are just as great as the next man. Nobody's better than you. If you apply yourself, you can make things happen. Now, given some people might have different opportunities, but nonetheless, you can still be successful in life. You know, if you put yourself around the right people and position yourself socially, because that's the biggest thing. You know, we look at education and stuff, which is great, but you have to position yourself socially. But not to get off topic, like I said, you know, we haven't heard from any of the rappers or any of the entertainers making any comments about this situation. You know, they pretty much have to go with the flow as far as what's put out there by the media. But on the flip side, we haven't heard anything from any of the churches either. You know, people gather and pray, and I think that's a great thing. I think that in times like this, we need to tap into our spirituality. But for those who are members of churches who have been donating for years, I think now would be a great time for these 501c corporations who don't pay taxes to actually be given back to all you guys who are members of these churches. You know, if you look at some of the richest pastors in the world, these guys are worth, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, some of them 100 million. Private jets, multiple luxury cars. You guys right now, they talk about these guys being anointed to preach the word. Well, this is when things flip right here. This is when, if you're that well off and your congregation isn't that well off, isn't this a time to give back so that they can get on their feet, so that they can have some hope? I think right now would be a great time for a lot of these churches that are worth billions. Look at some of the endowments of some of these churches. I'm not going to name which ones, but you know, I've came across financials, and some of these institutions got investments in the billions, and they continue to take donations. So I would say to all you guys who invested in these institutions, you should be asking them, hey man, how about a check? Yeah, how about a check? Because right now we're dealing with one of the biggest redistributions of wealth in the world. You know, Wall Street got pumped with over $1 trillion that was divided among probably the 1%, because the 1% owned the majority of the businesses that were initially involved in that bailout. Everybody else is fed some crumbs. This little $1,200. I don't know what you guys think that $1,200 is going to do for you. And, you know, I feel for the families that have 3 and 4 kids, you know, the ones that have to work 2 jobs, because it's going to be rough. But if you go to church and you give a little, you've been giving for years, hey man, this is when you should call on those people that you've been giving to give a little back. And I'm just keeping it real, man. I mean, you know, if you've been accepting donations in the name of the Lord, right now in the name of the Lord would be a great time to help out those in need. Just keeping it real. That's how I feel about it. I don't go to church. I'm spiritual, but I feel for the people that do, because I know a lot of people give a significant amount of their yearly earnings to the church in the name of thy Lord. So just a little food for thought, man. You know, tell me what you think, how you feel about it. Not knocking anybody's religion. I'm not knocking the fact that some of these, you know, pastors got 2 jets and, you know, have congregations that generate millions of dollars on Sundays. I'm just saying, man, people need hope right now. You got people who, you know, don't know what to do, and they're talking about pushing this thing back into May. You guys need to step up to the plate. Big Herc 916.